So I know we have quite a bit of people who wish to say something, and I see, first of all, Senator Roush is here. If you would please approach or stand up just so the microphones can pick you up. That's great.
Oh, here, right. Here is the microphone.
Great.
Hi, everybody. Great to see you all.
Great to see you.
I am deeply honored and privileged to go first in this long line of people who I know are going to say glorious and wonderful things. Well earned and well deserved, Dan, for your incredible service to this town in so many different capacities over so many years. On a personal note, I have learned so much from you in my comparatively much shorter tenure in service to this town. And so on a personal note, I'm just deeply grateful to you for everything you have done, all the wisdom you have imparted on me and so many others as we hope to advance your legacy of service to this town. It is my deep honor and privilege to bring you a citation from the state Senate, which I will read briefly as part of the job description. Commonwealth of Massachusetts State Senate official citation, be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Dan Matthews in recognition of 27 years of dedication and service to the town of Needham. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate on behalf of all of us in the State Senate, especially myself and Senator Rush. Congratulations on your retirement from this board, and thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next speaker we will have our town moderator, Michael Fee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and greetings to all the members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the invitation to speak about one of my favorite people in the world, Dan Matthews. Just a couple of observations. Dan has been a selectman for 27 years, which is longer than my tenure as moderator. He was on the school committee before that, when I was on the finance committee. We've worked together, I must say, for decades. And Dan has always had one bedrock principle, which is his belief that what he's doing will advance the interest of our town. And I have great respect for him for that. Dan is a great guy. We have a couple of things in common, which is I just wanted to observe. We have a common law school and a common graduation date. Both Dan and I attended Boston College Law School, and Dan graduated Boston College Law School in 1977, and I graduated high school in 1977. So I didn't want to. I just didn't want to let that go. I thought it was important. But on a serious note, there is one. Dan has done so much, and we could go on. And I know you have quite a line of testimonials. But I just wanted to single out one point because it's fresh in my mind. We recently had a meeting of the Minuteman Regional School Advisory Committee. Mary Ann was in attendance. And this is something that Dan put together at a time when the operations, the finances, the perception of Minuteman was a bit of a mystery. Minuteman's profile was not really what it should have been in our town. For that reason, I think central to Dan's concern was not just fiscal oversight, which many of us ex-finance committee people like to talk about, but at his core, he was most concerned, I think, about the availability of this resource for our town's students. And over the course of the 15 or so years that Dan has put together this committee, the level of information has improved, and Dan's commitment to that school has been on just stark display. And I think that was recognized when the school had its grand opening. Dan was singled out. He was a speaker at this $195 million project's grand opening, and he was credited with marshaling the support from the member towns that was necessary to make this resource available, not just for our town, but for all the towns of the district. The result has been a dramatic increase in the number of students from Needham who are attending Minuteman and benefiting from the projects there. It's one thing Dan has done, but it's one thing that has impressed me greatly. I think the town owes him a debt for a lot of his actions, but I think that one in particular strikes me as really very laudable. So I'd like to thank Dan for his service. It's been a pleasure. John Bullion and I spoke a moment ago, and I think Dan may have given John some currency because he said, "How are you going to control Dan Matthews to 5 minutes if he gets elected as a town meeting member?" And John can attest that my response was, "Oh, I've done that before." So I'll just leave you with there's a quote attributed to Winston Churchill who said, "We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give." And I think Dan, no one in this room, no one in the town should doubt how much you've given to the town. It's appreciated, and you've left your mark. So thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Martyr, for those comments. Next, we'll go to Colleen Shaler, former Select Board member, served with Dan. Colleen, how are you? Good.
For me not to sit over there.
I know, right? There'll always be a place.
Maybe I'll run next time. I don't know. This is a very sad night for me, Dan, as you well know. You know, I tried so hard to convince you to stay. I really did. Dan and I have worked together actually for 10 years, 3 years on the Board of Selectmen, but 7 years when I was on the school committee with him. And I find that in every case, that the integrity that Dan uses as he approaches something and the dedication to the town of Needham and its citizens is just unmatchable. And I was very proud to be able to work with him. And strange as it may seem, although I am a year or two older than he is, he's always been my mentor. And I do appreciate that, Dan, and good luck with everything. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Colleen. Next, we have Mr. Handel, former Select Board member, former chair. How are you? Nice to see you as always.
Thank you. Feels kind of nice on this side of the table. I've served with Dan my entire tenure, and I have never met a more dedicated public servant in my life. Dan had a detailed knowledge of how government works, and he loved government. And we all used to wonder, why is Dan talking so long on these issues? And I wondered about that for a long time, and then I came to a realization. Dan was teaching the public the detail of those issues so that the people who watched these meetings had a clear understanding of what we were about. So people will talk about transparency, but Dan exemplifies transparency. And the only request I would make of the board is that a good recording be made of Dan's liquor speech and his welcoming of new police officers, and that instead of anybody else making those remarks, that be played now with the new technology. It should be able to be done. So, Dan, I wish you the best, and good luck in the town meeting race. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Handel. Next, we have Mr. Bullion, former Select Board member, also former chair, twice?
No,
Who's
more
counting?
than
More than that? Oh, I was trying to keep you young.
that. 4 times?
4 times, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to need 18 years right now, kid. So I know we're limited on time. Dan ran my campaign in 2003 when I ran for the Board of Selectmen at that time. And, to echo some of the comments that have been made before me, Dan is a man of incredible integrity. He cares about the town more than anybody can imagine. You give long speeches, which I always enjoyed until I was at home watching. And then it's like, well, wait a second, I don't have to watch these. So I started taping the meetings and then going through Dan's speeches, which I knew well. And, having heard them many times. I do want to jump back to Michael Fee and just say, I'll be curious to see, as hopefully a re-elected town meeting member, how this plays out at town meeting. If Dan gets elected, 5 minutes, that'll be interesting. But it's been my pleasure to serve my entire 18 years with you, Dan. We did good, and you did great. And all the time that you put into this town, and people don't realize the integrity that everybody on this board serves with, and the caring. And that's what it comes down to. When you're sitting on that side of the table, the people that I've known sitting on that side of the table have been people that care about the town deeply. So as much as people are critical, and they have been, and we know that because we heard the criticisms and the complaints, I would always try to make it clear to people that we care. We may not agree sometimes on issues, but we care. And we all did. And everybody in this room that's here to celebrate you cares. And really, it's just an amazing run that you've had, Dan. And
A lot of help.
well, it's a teamwork. It's a team approach, and we all know that. It is a team approach. So thank you for all the work that you've done. Going to see you on the other side. And, look forward to seeing you. And so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bullion. I see Representative Denise Garlick is here, and I'm sure she has a lot to say. Representative Garlick, nice to see you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I do have a lot to say, but I hear that we will roast and toast you on April 29th. So I will be very brief in deference to all the business this board needs to take on. But Dan, I did want to take a moment to say, speaking on behalf of our community, I wish to express our deep respect and our gratitude for your public service. You are an extraordinary role model as an active, knowledgeable, caring, and committed citizen. Martha Gellman said, and I quote, "Citizenship is a tough occupation, which obliges the citizen to make his own informed decision and then stand by it. And there, Dan, as you have always demonstrated, then work hard for it." As a citizen of our town, of our Commonwealth, and our country, you have devoted thousands and thousands of hours to study issues and concerns, to chart paths forward, and to navigate until goals were fulfilled. In these very unsettled times, in our town, in our Commonwealth, in our country, and in the world, we need good citizens, willing to think, willing to work, willing to lead. And Dan, you are most honestly the best citizen I know. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Representative Garlick. And last on my list, I have Mr. Healy, former Select Board member and chair, say 2 times?
Twice.
Oh,
Thank you,
that
Mr.
one.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Healy.
Colleagues on the Select Board, Town Manager. Dan, congratulations. Wonderful accomplishments. I do want to point out a couple of things. It is nice that we have a fellow Needham High School graduate still toiling away. And I think what it means is that you know where this town came from. You know what it's going to be. You helped make it to be a better place. But you never forgot the people that grew up here, that lived here, that first made Needham. And I've always thought that's a great characteristic of someone who wants to lead a town. Know where you've been so you know where you're going. I'd also like to say that I've had the privilege of knowing and working with Dan since the 1980s, and my service on the Finance Committee, and then joining him here with the Select Board. There were some fantastic accomplishments, if you don't mind, that I'd like to mention. Dan was the driving force behind the Community Preservation Act. He struggled once or twice, didn't have everyone on his side at the beginning. In the middle, they were kind of there. But Dan, you convinced them. And I wish I had the laundry list of projects that the CPA fund has bought for the town of Needham, all without additional taxpayer dollars, all without additional overrides. Second, we have Kate. Dan was the driving force behind the Town Manager Act. And I don't think Dan gets enough credit because, again, that was stalled once, if not twice, but through your persistence, you got that thing passed. I'd also like to talk about a broad 20-year of accomplishment. Starting in the year 2000 up until now, I could be mistaken, and now that Emery Grove is going to be done, probably it is now, every single building in this town has been renovated or rebuilt. That's a tremendous accomplishment. And I know it was a team. I know John was there, Mo was there, Jerry was there, Jack. This board's been here. But you were there consistent. You were there from the start. And I think the town owes a debt of gratitude for you for all you did on that. I want to finish with a personal reflection. So when you were running John's campaign, you remember there was another guy who was on the ballot that year.
Who was that? It was a vote for two.
I don't recall any signs saying that, but... So I went to a coffee up in the section of town, the Mitchell, kind of the side by where... up between Harris and where Mitchell was. And I gave my spiel, you know, why you should vote for me, and this is something I've always wanted to do, Needham born and bred. And this older gentleman, towards the end, started peppering me with questions. Had a bit of a Maine accent, which I didn't quite place. And at the end of it, he stood up and he goes, I think you're going to be good. I think you're going to be all right. And when you do get elected, I want you to work very closely with that guy, Dan Matthews. And I said, I'd be happy to do it. He said, because you know what? He's a great guy. That was Dan Matthews' father. Your dad was right. Everyone here is right. Dan Matthews, if there was a mayor of Needham, I'm voting for you.
Thank you, Mr. Healy, and thank you for all of those heartfelt comments and all true comments. And I should just, for my comments, say I echo everything that's been said because it is all true and extremely touching and right to the point. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to members of this board and just go down the line and, of course, express our appreciation and gratitude. If anyone, Kevin?
Sure. I'm the newest member of the board, but I may know Dan perhaps longer than you realize. I worked on one of his first campaigns with my brother back when I was, I think, in 7th grade. We were leafleting houses. Apparently no one wanted to do the job, so we got to do it. But it's been clear that Dan loves the job, he's good at the job, and he loves his town. So thank you for everything, Dan. You're awesome, Kevin.
Thank you. Marcus?
Thank you. I was the newest member of the board until very, very recently. I think from when I first began the journey for running for select board and the conversations I had with Dan and the support that he gave me right before the election and the email that he sent out, and I would say every week or so, there's a text, want to meet up? Want to have coffee? And he has been consistently guiding me, but not telling me what to do by any means, but guiding me and giving me information and giving me resources and years of knowledge. And there's not enough words to say how grateful I am for what Dan has done for me in the short time that I've been on this board, very short time, because he has empowered me to want to be greater, to want to be more. And though we haven't agreed on everything that he's done, and the echo people have said has been in the best interest of what he thought was going to move the town forward, and what he continues to do, and what he will do when he's no longer on this board. But my gratitude and my appreciation for Dan, and he knows I'm going to continue to bother him for as long as I'm on the board. I will continue to reach out and continue to have coffee and to continue to take his advice. And I think I didn't know it when I first started this, but the friendship that I've been able to, cultivate with Dan is one that I'm truly grateful for. And I'm just super appreciative in this town. Cannot be, I think, more happy and more proud to have had you in it and continue to have you in it.
Thank you, Marcus. Marianne.
So, Dan, we're going to have the time to toast you more at the end of April. But I will just say that, echoing everything that's been said, right? We go back a long, long way. Dan has been supportive from the very beginning. We met doing overrides. No, we didn't. We met at Hillside with our girls back at the beginning. And I am grateful for all those years, for all those BOMOs, that I've been able to pay forward and say, well, Dan says, or this is what you need to know about this. And so, in the words of Mary Oliver, I'll say, what will you do with your one wild and precious life? I'm grateful for the decades of your precious life that you have given to Needham, that we have all benefited from. And now I'm going to say, well, we've had a few wild moments. I'm going to encourage the wild and crazy part going forward, because you know what? You're due. So thank you, Dan.
Thank you all. It's crazy to think, Dan, that you and I served the longest together on this board now with the new board, and it was great to hear people who have served with you. But, going back, we've talked a lot about dates, right? 1995. The moderator mentioned the years. I graduated in 1994, so I think I voted for you. And of course, you're on the school committee when I was in school. And just to mention, you were a steward like everybody. You were a steward moving this town forward. And I wouldn't be here where I am really without you and your stewardship of this town and just making it such a terrific town. You're always willing to take the time to meet for coffee, to give advice, solicited or unsolicited, but it's always welcome. And I also think about all the things, and I know Mr. Healy was mentioning, all the things you've been through before this. And since I've been on the board, we were a dry town at once, right? And you've the senior center that you helped get through. And of course, Minuteman was brought up, and all the host of things that you helped along the way. And you were always the go-to guy for many of those subjects, especially, as was mentioned, Minuteman, and of course any of the alcohol licenses or regulations that we have to make sure that all T's are crossed and I's are dotted. Your dedication as far as every event you would come to, meetings, I don't know if you've missed a one, honestly. I guess you can tell us, but I never remember you missing a meeting in my tenure on the board. That type of dedication, I think, you don't see that type of dedication. And as was said earlier, you really did everything in the best interest of the town. I will say you have almost this intuition that afterwards I said, Dan nailed it. I remember there were a couple applications that came through, and you might say, I feel a little iffy about this. We're like, no, we'll see what happens. And then he was right. And we're like, oh, Dan was right about that one. Dan was right about that. Dan, you should ask this question. Dan was right about that one. So you had that intuition that you brought to the board, and not only just your experience, but just your knowledge and just your gut feeling was so respected. And we're all a team, but I always figured that you were really the coach of this team. And it goes, we have Team Needham, and it goes a long way, and people really look up to you for what you've done. So you've shown me what a member should be. I find you as a mentor. I find you as an inspiration. and I wouldn't really be here if it wasn't because of you and that leadership. So heartfelt to you. Thank you for everything you've done, and I think everyone said it best collectively. And I know you won't be going away. You're just a call and a cup of coffee away, but we will all be calling you to get some advice. So thank you again.
Thank you. In order not
You have
to,
10 seconds, Mr. Matthews.
in order not to exceed the moderator's limits of debate, I tried to shorten this a little bit. So if I had to kind of peek at my notes, I apologize. You know, yes, I grew up here in town, and that's a basic thing for me. And Harris School boy makes good, even though there's not much Harris School left. Joined town meeting in 1974, the school committee in 76, and to this board in 1994. It's been a long time with a lot of ups and downs, but a lot of good things and good work too. Some of it are big things, learning to work with the Proposition 2.5 environment, earning public support for major investments in schools and public facilities, and making the change to town manager government, which has been a huge difference for the town. We have good neighborhoods, strong business and commercial sectors, excellent public schools, public safety, and other town services. And people have worked together to make, no one person makes those things happen. It's the work of the whole town. We've addressed difficult issues on affordable housing. There's more work to be done, but we've made a lot of progress, and much more to be done on race equity. We've made a lot of progress in my time, but not as much as we should have, and more to be done. But all of this effort is aimed at having Needham be a good community where people can live together as neighbors. The last few years have been tough in a number of ways, but we're doing well. We've weathered the storm pretty well, and this is a good time for a change. There has to be change, and so let's make it change for the better. The challenge when you're trying to improve things in a community is to fix the things that need to be made better without losing the good that you've got. It's easy to say and harder to do. A core piece is you've got to stand up for your own principles, but you've also got to listen and work together with others. Working together, that's how we can make sure that the town is well run. I want to thank all of my family, all of the people that I've worked with over the years, both those that are present and those that can't be. Residents, staff, town meeting members, past and present members of this board, and others. I never like to list people as individuals because you always leave somebody out, but I do want to thank one person by name, and that is Kate Fitzpatrick, our town manager, who during my 27 years on this board has not only been an extraordinary contributor and leader to the town and a friend to the town, but set an example for every one of us in public service. I appreciate having the had the opportunity to participate in the town's government, and I'm grateful for the friendship, the guidance, the support I've received over all these years. And I hope that my work has been a positive contribution to the town and its people, and affected positively concerns beyond our community as well. Thank you all, and best wishes.